What's up, guys? This is LFC3. We're here at Studio KAI. Here's the trick of the week. So I'm gonna drop in here to a PK song. Just let's give it a listen, and then I'm gonna go into my mastering trick for y'all.
Yeah. I've been doing me, shawty, so you don't wanna find me, Purple hitting like some Novocaine, yeah. I've been destined for the top, can't put it on my name, bitch. And nothing I've been doing, make mistakes, have been the same shit.
Alright, so the song already sounds great from a mix perspective. So one of the biggest things I like to do on the mastering side is something that I call dynamic control, and I like to do this with multiband compressors. The biggest thing here in terms of the master for a song like this is I just want the different frequency ranges to just sort of mesh a little better and not, overshadow another. So I really like to go over here into the Izotope Ozone 8 Dynamics. It's one of my favorites for years for this. Alright, so the biggest thing here is I want to look for a part of the song that's really bumping, that has all the frequencies sort of going at their height. So I'm just going to usually I like to go to the hook of the song, especially where that bass is popping too. So let's find that.
This life will kill you, yeah, the letter passage meant for me. I got that Betty creeping, he ain't nothing but the enemy. Strongest feeling in my fucking veins is never dead to me.
So the first thing I want to do is I want to solo out the bass and the sub sections, and this is mainly because now I can specifically tweak sort of everything under 150 hertz in this case, which is a good starting point I like to go to. I like to get a few dB of gain reduction, and I really want to bring this attack up so that we can kind of see this bass transient hitting it nicely and still getting that attack and not losing any of that. Bring up the release a little bit, make the curves a little smoother. All right, so I got about 2 dBs, and I like where everything's sitting. Maybe turn the ratio up a little bit, bring the threshold up a little bit. All right. So now I want to go back and forth between with the multiband on for this frequency and with it off, and just try to get the gain levels to match up so the song isn't losing any volume. Let's go back to a more bassy part. Bring that gain up a little bit to match. So right away you can hear when this is turned on for the bass region, the each hit of that bass is sort of more smoothened out, and it's not going over anything else really. So that's kind of what I want to do for the bass range. Not too much, but just enough to sort of gel it together.
I've been sipping strong and getting money, will it make it right?
Alright, so now we're going to move on to the mid-range. So with the mid-range, I don't want to do too much because that's when the song's going to sound really, really compressed because everything is really going on in this range right here. So I just like to sort of give it a little love tap, where it's just barely hitting sort of this compressor, and just maybe sort of bring down a few of the transients that maybe are a little, over piercing.
This life will kill you, yeah, the letter passage meant for me. I got that Betty creeping, he ain't nothing but the enemy. Strongest feeling in my fucking veins is never dead to me. And I've been sipping strong and getting money with it.
Alright, yeah, just doing a little bit there, and then I'm just gonna gain match it again as I did with the bass there.
This life will kill you, yeah, the letter passage meant for me. I got that Betty creeping, he ain't nothing but the enemy. Strongest feeling in my fucking veins is never dead to me. And I've been sipping strong.
Yeah, it didn't need a lot there because again, we're only doing a little bit to the mid-range. I don't like to do a ton there. This region between 2K to maybe 8K, I like to bring this down a little bit. This is where sort of the magic of this dynamic control sort of comes from. especially in like pop, EDM, rap songs like this. The snare tends to sometimes pop over the vocals, so I really like to sort of bring those snare transients down to everything else, and that's what I do usually with this region, as that where really that attack from the snare is coming from. No, notice when I turn it off, you can hear that really the snare goes above the vocals, but when I bring that back in, you can sort of hear it come back down to that vocal level, and that really makes a very balanced mix in this upper mid region. All right, and then the last section I want to go to here is the very, very high range, what we like to call the air, the breath, the sexiness of the song. And again, I don't want to do too much with this. I just kind of like to, you know, tap it a little bit, sort of like the mid-range, maybe a little bit more. And this is mainly to control the hi-hats of the song, as this is where those are going to be sitting. All right, when I've had all the frequencies sort of looked at one by one, I'm just gonna sort of listen to the differences between the song with the plugin and without, and sort of just make sure I can get the volumes sort of perfect with the different gains.
This life will kill you, yeah, the lot of passes meant for me. I got that Betty creeping, he ain't nothing but the enemy. Strongest feeling in my fucking veins is never dead to me. And I've been sipping strong and getting money, will it make it right? Think I got a hunch, but fuck it, I'ma do it anyway. Foreign student in the state, I push it and we straight away. I ain't thugging with my bad bitch. She took off the slicing and she all up on my shit. Get your body when you naked, love it, it's so natural.
Those horns sort of just come in magically too on that part with the dynamics on. Here, I'll play that again with it off and then turn it back on.
Lady with the crease, I love the hips when they on top of me. Fucking in the private pulling by expensive bottles, yeah. Pre-rolling my pack and we too faded on some more, yeah. Get your body when you naked, love it, it's so natural.
Yeah, those horns just sort of sit really nice and don't really die down. It's almost like they get a little bit more energy with that dynamic control on. So yeah, that's something I really like to do, and I really recommend it for your mastering chain. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys. This is LFC3 with the trick of the week. Make sure to like, subscribe. See you next time.